2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will not debate the question of the straw. This is the imposthume of much wealth and peace, that inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir. I'll be with you straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me, and spur my dull revenge. What is a man, if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast, no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fasten us unused. Now whether it be bestial oblivion, or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which quartered hath but one part wisdom, and ever 3 parts coward. I do not know why yet I live to say these things to do, sith I have will and cause and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass in charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed, makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare. Even for an eggshell, rightly to be great, is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor's at the stake. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep while to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, who for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough nor continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Second video today. I felt compelled to make another one, right? Because primarily it's Friday. The weekends, right, historically, have been very difficult for me regarding my relationship with Quentin. It's not a secret, right? Like our condition, it's not, they're just not reporting on it. He's talking about it, I'm talking about it, right? And so I've had several weekends in the last maybe 2 or 3 months that have been so aggressively evil. Just the nastiest. There's no grace, no salvation in his behavior, him and the people around him, which they stole from me, right? And so in that way, hopefully it is just psychological warfare. We're on the frontier. We're pushing the boundaries of clairvoyance, right? We're really like touching on the palpable power associated with the mind, right? That I've always lived according to this understanding that mind permeates all, right? And through your mind, right, you can mutate, manipulate, fracture the hologram, which is embedded in every cubic centimeter of space, towards the end of your intention, your desire, your will. Right? That's right. That's been the game the whole time. right? And so now that he's stolen my wisdom, we really are. We're just right there, right? And so, right? Evil is easy. There's nothing graceful about what he's been doing. He stole it from me, right? But I'm making this video, right, on Friday to discuss, right? And everything that you're interested in learning about, right? Like that video, A Plea to the Pope, it really does. It explains everything that's been occurring as far as what they do, right? That there's 3 or 4 of them around a fetish, right? Is it my bust? Is it just like a voodoo doll? Like it is irrelevant. Like it can be a mound of clay, right? This sensible warm motion to become a kneaded clod, right? It can just be a lump of clay. That's all it has to be, right? Because it's appears the mind, right? But they've been doing things. They've taken steps, right, to destroy me with their minds. Destroy my body with their minds because they know that I can do the same thing to them, right? Like, oh, so okay, I see. We're playing the, oh, I want to destroy your life. I want to destroy your body, your soul, with my mind. This is the imposture of much wealth and peace, right? Right? In his arrogance, him and the people that are around him, right? They've all decided, oh, it doesn't matter what we do. Like, oh, we can all do whatever we want. Right? And so that's what we're talking about. Because while I can do whatever I want, like that's true. I have ethical standards. Right? And so, this is like a really hard thing to acknowledge right now, but I guess like what I'm saying is that I would rather someone just kill me, with black magic evil than to descend into the same tactics against another human being. That's right, and that's right. But what I'm saying is that this thing that they stole from me, right? This wisdom, this understanding, right? It's an ethical line in the sand that says good on one side, evil on the other side. And when you cross over that, right, then you're demonstrably evil. You're palpably evil. Right? And so when I say these things, right, what exactly am I talking about? How do I know that they do respect it? How do I know that? Right? Because when I was sorting trash, right, those last few days were real hard. And they said any number of things related to, oh, such power, right? Because they stole it from me. Because they're fucking ignorant asses and they understand nothing. Right? And so that's why we're talking about it. Right? If nothing occurs, right, I'm going to start reading on my novel soon. I don't want to go on and on. Right? But if we persist in this way, right, and we say, right, he says I'm insane, I say he's evil, and that's like, these are the warring factions of our argument to the public at large, right? That inevitably I'm gonna have no choice, and they know that. They know that I'm gonna, right? That I'm gonna have to build my coven and watch Quentin and Daniela, right? And Ari Emanuel and Mike Simpson, right? And Stacey Scher, right? And all these people, forever. Not for like a week. No. Because this is what he's going to do to me, right? And if I assume anything less, right, then I'm giving him permission to, right, hold dominion, Malkuth, over my soul. And since I don't do that, never have, never will, then we both have no choice but to watch the other one forever. But this is, right? That for a long time, right, I let him run amok in my mind because I felt guilty about Tribeca, right? So there's the ticket, right? Screening of Jackie Brown, right? He needed me to bark like a dog. And when I didn't do it, right, at first I was arrogant. And I said, this is bullshit that we're like still doing this, and that is true. That's not true. That's not true, I mean. Right? That he could have got what he wanted. That he could have got what he wanted just by talking to me like a regular person. Right? But after like a week, I felt really bad. I did. Because I saw, this is what he needed from me. Like I wanted to be the actor that he could trust, like all those things, And so I did. I started writing him again saying, I'm sorry, like I'm really sorry. Like I'm gonna build you a planter, I'm gonna build you this porch planter, 30 rhombic faces, the rhombic tricontahedron, right? 120 T modules, right? Anyone who's familiar with synergetics? The largest of the all-space filling polyhedra, right? Like you put one, so there's one, then there's 30 around one, then there's 900 around 30, right? No gaps, pure all-space filling. Right, but I wanted to give him that. I wanted to spend that 300 hours, and of course he watched me while I was doing it and said arts and crafts is for fags. He's just reduced me to nothing because I hurt him, and that would be fine in and of itself. But my point is that from then on, I let him play the games that he wanted to play. Right? That I let him tell me, oh, there's a woman, etc., she loves you. Right? I let him do all of that, right? And I see now that it was all contrivance, that it was all to show William Morrison Dever his lie. To say, oh, see, he is insane. Like, look at this behavior. Look how irrational it is, right? My daughter's a little girl. She's a sweet little girl. Right? But eventually, right, on January the 1st, there's the board, right? Here's the scaffold. I turned it all on him in an instant. Right? Now I reference nothing. Right? This is the point. Right? That eventually I said, okay. And it wasn't me, right? Like there's a divinity that shapes our ends. Rough hew them how we will. Right? Hamlet. Right? Then I turned it all on him and said, okay, well, how about this? And in no time at all, right, less than a week, he said, oh, no, there's no daughter. This is all, no. I don't like what's occurring now. This isn't what I signed up for. Right? And so I've been trying to come clean ever since, right? And when I realized, right, once he said that he had a daughter, it became obvious, like, oh, okay, I see that you just want me to blow my brains out, there's no other way to interpret it. Right? Like, he didn't do all of this, right? Obviously, he doesn't want to see me at all, right? He doesn't want to spend any time with me, and that's his right on one level, but he's pushed it to such an exacerbated level, right, in terms of our connection, right, that if he has no designs on us reconciling and embracing, right, and spending time together, then the only option that anyone is left to rest in, to know that this is what has motivated him, is that he expects me to blow my brains out, right? Our connection is so sublime, right? We're right there, right? Forever, not for a day, forever, right? And so if he does not intend to spend any time with me, right? If he does not intend to reconcile with me, right? then as long as we're both alive, right, in this condition, right, we both exist as psychic phantoms in the other one's mind. Right, that's my point. Right? And so after I realized that I see, because I trusted him the whole time. Because I felt bad about Tribeca. Because I wrote him from a place of love. Right? From a place of appreciation, adoration, sincerity. Right? And so I fell in love out of sincerity, all these things. Right? But once I realized it, I thought, oh, well, what else is he prepared to do to put me in the ground? And I thought of it immediately, of course. That's right. What is this fucking amateur hour? Right? And he stole my wisdom and has taken palpable steps towards destroying my body with his mind. Right? And hopefully I don't have AIDS. Hopefully that's not how it works. But he did a lot. He did a whole lot. And so that's why we're talking about it now. Right? Because if I am dirty, right, there's only one way I can have it. Right? I haven't had sex in a long time. And I've never shared needles with anyone ever. I've never even used needles. Right? So, we're talking about it. I've written a novel about my experiences. And I suppose I'll pick up where I left off. The novel's called Building Your Coven. Waiting for this library to open. 15 minutes from now. My emotions are wild. I'm assured he doesn't hate me, that he loves me, and she loves me even more. But everything around me tells me I'm alone. I never thought that being good could be used against me, that anyone the wide world over could see and feel honesty and love, and feel nothing but resentment. I'm referring to Willow, of course. All that I've held to be true is tentative. I've wasted away, been reduced to ash, compost. How many liters of tears can wash away heartache? The library opens in 6 minutes. This book has come and gone so swift. Page after page after page, however irrelevant, is a finite amount of musculature that is extended to write longhand. Often cramped with carpal tunnel. It represents an elastic boundary, which I see is stretched thinner and wider than it has ever been. I am not sure if it is a blessing or a great curse. I have returned to the chair I occupied most of yesterday. My sister confirms they will be picking me up tomorrow. The right in me flares every time I spend time with her. Her family, she is a character. I'm told that I'm a novelist, and that he, Alistair, is sorry that it had to be this that gave me such a reservoir. But that she is in love with me, it's just that everything is too fucked up. I am adrift on an ocean of depression. Just a couple months, I'm told. I am in love with you, she tells me, and I am ashamed of myself. You have humiliated me on the page. It feels awful. All this pain, this running, conspiring, degradation for what? The thrill? This is entertaining to you, Willow? I can't stop crying. And my rage. I thought she wanted to fall in love, man. You gotta believe me. Alistair tells me, and I did believe him. I said, okay, Alistair, I don't understand, but we'll do it your way. I hated her. Apex despisal. I never wanted to see her if she was unwilling to submit. I didn't want much, a simple gesture of respect, of recognition, that some boundaries should never be crossed. And though you may in theory cross it unabashed 1,000 times, as soon as your trespass is discovered, steps must be taken to balance everything. Now, everything is so out of balance I have to write this scathing expose on a woman I love so much, whose father I wrote out of certainty and adoration, and now the precious diadem, my hope, sincerity, compassion, my boundless love reduced to nothing. less than nothing, a king of shreds and patches. It wasn't supposed to be this way. It wasn't supposed to be this convolution of intrigue, conspiracy, psychic forces, and pressures wide and malevolent. It was supposed to be a beautiful, unique, special love story. All great love stories begin in turmoil, as with my curse, the Ouija board. Tumult, to be sure. But I felt that we had made it through it. And I had, but her, that wicked white witch, finds joy in creating pain. It is a great sickness she suffers, a yoke she enslaves herself with. When money is no object, when the world collapses, and you can fly to Thailand or New Zealand on your private jet whenever you want. The only adventure left is occult theft, the psychic mystery. For all of her life she has had the attitude of an only child. Everything in every room I occupy is mine, and has been requited thus until now, until I cursed that witch's womb with everything I had for thinking she is justified in digging around in my fucking head. I don't regret it. I should have been sterner, more adamant. She deserved it. She said she wanted me to love her, and trusting her father, I agreed. And now it all smacks of a strange, sick conspiracy to humiliate me. A ritual in perversion. My right leg is swollen. I have to get some new shoes as soon as possible. I know it will only get worse. The longer I hobble along, the more damage I do. Not that anyone but me is suffering in this formula, but goddammit, it sure feels like I've suffered enough to hold me over the next few incarnations for a dream. A dream of love, of legacy, of action. Yet, am I alone? Sitting between a backwoods grocery store and a weave outlet with a steady stream of ratchet hillbilly whores, Alistair tells me, we're all excited to meet you in person in a few months. No one is happy how everything has gone. And as I shovel pre-cooked chicken in my mouth, I get weepy watching Jerry Garcia being interviewed, which Alistair says, I get why you like these guys. You're carrying the torch. No one else knows it, but we all do. It is a very kind estimation. I know it's all there, but I walked back to the library. The heat of the sun made me clammy due to my sarcastic amount of clothing I had layered over my body. 2 pair of blue jeans, and some 5 shirts and sweaters. I look ridiculous, tacky if unique, and disheveled as any man can be. It's funny, if pathetic, and sad, as seen from the outside looking in. I know how I ended up in this condition. But everyone who sees me has no clue to translate my story, though undoubtedly they all inquire in jest amongst themselves. It has happened before. Alien wizards always stick out. My legs feel waterlogged. These shoes are really doing a number on me. When I knocked it with my book-laden backpack, a stinging agony leapt into focus instantly, and it is another worry. The list is now some dozenfold. A colossal mountain of woe. I got a message from one of the young cats I met at Montegreen, Josh, great guy. He informed me they would be at MSG all 4 nights, asked if I would be there. And it all came back, the frustration, anxiety, all of it. I told him what I felt comfortable telling, and that if he saw the band, and that if the band saw it again on the 30th, they'd think of me. I suspect they will. Dinner and a movie encore. Less certain of that one, but maybe. Never know. I know they'll have a great time. Their enthusiasm is infectious. There's 4 of them, 2 bros, Josh and Martin, and a cute young couple whose names escape me. But for sure my heart broke when she looked me in the eye. They bought each other their wings. Precious stuff. Also, it was their first tweaker, their first WET. The bliss, I felt it. I shared the MDMA I had with them. It was Saturday night. The same night I told Anna I fell a little more in love with her every time I see her. My heart feels weighted, aged. Something inside of me feels corrupted, degraded, illuminated, all at once. I have always known these things were technically doable, though I guess if I ever thought of it before, I dismissed it as some relic of centuries past. Not invalid, not false, very real, palpable, there to be manipulated. And indeed, now I see these bleak esoteric practices are still thriving in certain echelons, not for the bettering of society, but in true Luciferian style, for the bettering of the Coven, of the witch or warlock or sorcerer who seek to increase their bounty. It has opened up in me whole areas of resonance previously opaque. They have always been there, but now the steps in logic are no longer aloof. It is a clear sequence of steps from intention and desire through ritual. It is not about causing fireworks, though it can be used to create as well as destroy. It is about unlocking the secrets of someone you as the practitioner seek to control and deconstruct. It is about the coagulation of intention around a particular psyche to color their worldview according to your design. It is the subtle magnetic nudging into simpatico, as when Willow, out of fear, led me to believe she wanted my baby. She only had the thought, I want you to give me a baby. She blasted my psyche and the universe at large with this thought energy, and the results were palpable. Walking out of Central Park just after dark, I saw a woman breastfeeding, and my newsfeed was pushing stories about children. She, as a witch, an amateur witch, I should say, has no understanding of these unfoldings around me. She only transmits the thoughts as intention, and the ensuing quantum perturbations manipulate everything from weather patterns all the way to application algorithms and even every step I take. I have no doubt she will be an awful mother. She has no love or heart. Perhaps the labor of birth, if she survives, will offer the first patches of humility to the tapestry of her soul, and thereby she may love something that isn't her own reflection. That is, if she has one. The time is approaching 2 o'clock, 1:47 to be exact. I acknowledged earlier I was riding through the perfect minute, which is always nice. And though I have been listening to Branford Marsalis interviews, what an American treasure. His Nassau concert with the Grateful Dead is pinnacle live music. I have been writing the entire time. I should, if all is as is alleged, be here less than 12 more hours. But my sister is very good at procrastinating. And if they don't arrive tomorrow evening, I have my pen, another notebook, and a story to tell. I'll stop there. So, right, Humboldt, Tennessee, that's the town where I wrote all of those passages, in the library, in front of a gas station, right? It's a novelization of my experiences with Quentin Tarantino on the psychic frontier. He's never gonna say, yep, fuck that guy, I got him good. Right? Of course, that's... What's he going to say? Oh, yeah, I'm a sick sorcerer. Fuck that guy. Right? Anyone who interviews him is going to eat his ass completely and say, here's the questions I want to ask you. And if it mentions me at all, he'll say, no, never. Never. We're not talking about that guy at all. Right? Unless he is, right? Unless one of two things, right? Unless he wants to reconcile or he is prepared to lie about me in public perpetually. It's none of my business, right? He can say whatever he wants. I'm done writing him, right? That I did nothing but write him to reconcile for a fucking year. So, right? I suppose I'll stop. Don't really know what else to say. Don't know any songs to sing, right? All life manifests, emerges out of an abstract divinity that exerts pressure upon the quantum manifold. Right? All instances of clairvoyance, right? The mind of man is the mind of God, right? God is not a creature in creation. God has no personality. God does not have an opinion about what anyone or anything does. Right? It is an abstract intellectual quality, or notion, or idea. Right? Plato's allegory of the cave, right? Russellian science, all things reside as idea. Right? which is nested for me, right? My coagulation of all of it, right, is that in every cubic centimeter of space, Pribram and Bohm's holographic model, right, lies an infinite complex nesting of polyhedra, right? Like this is one example, right? That's 40 tetrahedra, 20 pointing this way, 20 pointing that way, 20 pointing up, 20 pointing down, right? Right? And so like this is just one example. It's an infinite complex of nested, right? It's infinitely more complex than this, right? And then behind me on the board is a myriad of other examples, right? And so the divine light of God exerts pressure upon this, right? Right? And the specific dihedral, right? The angle or angles with which, right, the omniscience of God's light, right, exerts its pressure upon this manifold, right? This is the subatomic structural manifold, which has embedded within it the blueprints for all manifested reality, right? And so the degree of love, right, the dihedral angle or angles with which that the divine light, the celestial zephyr, imposes itself, pushes upon it, right, reflects what it materializes as in the corpuscular manifested universe, right? That there's an infinite variety of arrangements that the divine light of God can push upon this thing, push into it, right? If we say that within this lies the blueprint, the archetype for all of manifested creation, right? Then you have an infinite variety of 60-degree great circles that can surround this thing, and each 360 degrees represents 360 vectors with which the divinity can impose its knowing as pressure upon this manifold. And that is what allows, right, the seemingly infinite complex of, right, material manifested reality to emerge out of space. Space and matter are equal opposites of each other. All instances of clairvoyance is the mind of man, which is the mind of God, tapping into the non-locality of the conscious field, which permeates all of space and lives perpetually in a state of rest. Right? The highest levels of said expression of the adept sees the adept behaving like God. You can heal the sick, right? And far easier, you can destroy someone. Quentin Tarantino is a powerful psychic clairvoyant. Him and the people around him like to remote view people, right? Right? And so when I didn't bend to his psychic whim, he entered into a Faustian covenant with the people closest to him to compel me to madness and suicide. And now that he's failed, right, he's stolen my wisdom and taken real steps in black magic evil to destroy my body with his mind. Right? And so that's why this channel exists, to discuss it in the open air. So, right, see what's good in your life. Know that life is not an accident. Like, comment, subscribe, share, pray for me, pray for Quentin, pray to bring this to an amicable resolution, right? Have a good weekend. God bless.